Hello everyone, welcome back to another Grow with Google workshop. My name is Kate Angelo from the Long Branch Public Library, and today's workshop is Digital Skills for Everyday Tasks. Grow with Google helps people grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free digital skills training and tools. In today's workshop, we will examine how Google applications can help you manage your professional and everyday lives remotely. Our sample exercise will be planning a simple event, like a virtual company summit or a big pitch meeting with investors. We'll begin with Google Sheets to list and track tasks associated with the event. We'll then move on to Google Docs to create a meeting agenda and notes for a meeting with your event planning team. We'll end by building a status update presentation in Google Slides. We know that many people have been transitioning to working remotely. And let's be real, we all know working remotely often means working from home. So let's start with some tips that can make it easier for you to work from home. Keep your routine. If you'd normally wake up, work out, and take a shower before work, keep doing that. Maintain regular hours, set a schedule, and try to keep to it. Keeping your routine will help with a sense of normalcy. Create a dedicated workspace. Find a spot to go to work in your home at the same place every day. If you don't have the luxury of a dedicated office at home, at least go to the same place at a table every day, even if you have to clean it up at dinner time. Don't just bring your laptop to the couch one day, then to the recliner the next. Have lunch and breaks. Make sure you add those to your schedule. It's too easy to work at your desk when you are at home. Also, don't sit in front of your computer for 8 solid hours. Every hour or so, stand up and walk around. Give your body and your eyes a break. Have the tools you need to be productive. Without the supplies of the office, you may need things you don't realize until a few days into working remotely. Think about the supplies you use in a normal workday. Make a list and make sure you have them as part of your home office. Create a daily to-do list. At the end of your workday, write your to-do list for the next day. That will help you keep from popping back to your computer to do one more little thing that ends up taking another hour. Make sure you give your coworkers a bit of grace. If they're working from home too, there's going to be background noise, a dog barking, kids pestering them, so just roll with it. And if those distractions happen to you, don't worry or stress about it. Most important, when your workday is done, close up shop. Remember, at the end of the day, if you're not at work, don't work. Today, we'll focus on 3 digital skills that can make your everyday work life easier, both while you're working remotely and at a traditional office. When you're trying to stay productive at home, it can be even more important to keep track of your to-do list. Find ways to collaborate with your team and keep your organization and business partners updated about the progress you're making. To highlight these business needs, we'll demonstrate several digital skills using an example scenario. Our example is planning a company summit, but these skills and applications can work for many workplace situations. We'll build 3 example projects that demonstrate how to enhance your productivity and make progress on your work now. These projects can help you boost your productivity right away, and if you're a job seeker, they can prepare you to jump right into a new kind of work. Now let's get started. In today's lesson, we will get you signed into your Google account and accessing Google Drive. Google Drive is a free cloud-based digital drive where you can store projects, files, and plans. We'll show you how to open some very useful Google applications. For this lesson, we'll focus on planning and managing your work using Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Google Slides. To complete the lesson, we'll take you through planning a virtual event step by step and give you some hints and tips that will make your life easier. In the first half of today's class, we'll focus on accessing Google Drive and making a to-do list in Google Sheets. In the second half of the class, we'll dive into creating a meeting agenda in Google Docs and building a status update presentation in Google Slides. Many of you joining us may already have an event you're planning right now. Maybe you're hosting a digital video conference through Hangouts, or you might be planning a celebration event at work for later in the year. Today, we'll practice these tools in the context of planning an event, but you can apply these digital skills to many situations in your workplace or personal life. For example, you can use a sheet to create a budget or a job search plan. You can use a Google document to create a resume or cover letter, design a flyer, or brainstorm for a big project. First, we need to access these applications. So let's take this opportunity to sign into your Google account. Open a new tab in the browser window and navigate to google.com. The image to the right shows an example of a user signing in to a Gmail account. If you're not signed in, select Sign In and enter your username and password. Signing into your Google account allows you to access lots of Google apps that you can use for work and home. If you don't have a Google account, you can create a free Google account of your own. Instead of inputting your email address, simply click Create Account and go through the steps. Let's talk about what you can do with your Google account. The graphic on the slide shows a web of Google application icons, including Sheets, Docs, Slides, Photos, Chrome, and Gmail. Signing into your Google account allows you to access all the products you'll learn about today. You only have to sign in once to be able to access all of the applications. After you have signed into your Google account, you can use the Google Apps menu to move between applications. At the top right, select the Google Apps icon. From here, you can access all the Google applications that come with your account. To better understand how to do this, the image on the slide shows a user opening the app launcher and accessing Google Drive. Keep in mind your most recently used apps will appear first. Select More to expand the list. You can get to Gmail, Sheets, and Slides here. You can also access your Google Drive where all your projects are stored. Let's take a quick look at Google Drive first. Google Drive allows you to store, access, and share files like documents, slideshows, forms, and photos in one place. Instead of being stored on one computer, your Google Drive files are stored in the cloud. The cloud is a safe place on the internet where you can save important information. After you save something on your Google Drive, you can easily access it from any computer, smartphone, or tablet with internet access. Files stored on Google Drive won't get lost even if your computer crashes. And the projects you create with Google applications are automatically stored on your Google Drive. You don't have to remember to click Save. If you've never created anything with Google Apps before, your Google Drive will be empty. After you start creating projects in Google applications, they will be stored in your Drive. As I talk about features of Google's digital applications, feel free to follow along on your own devices if you'd like. Let's dive into our example projects. The first project we'll create today is a to-do list sheet to track tasks for our big virtual event. Feel free to work along or just watch, and I'll show you ways you can use Google Sheets to organize the event. One big first step in planning any major event or just getting on top of your virtual work is to build a list of everything that needs to get done, either by you or by someone else. While you can create a new blank project for this work, Google Drive offers a library of great time-saving templates. The template provides basic information and formatting and keeps you from having to start from scratch every time you create a sheet or other project. On this slide, the image shows a user moving through the steps to create a new Google Sheet from a template. Google Sheets has a template that will fit our to-do list nicely, and it's actually called To-Do List. To work on this list, select New, Google Sheets, and from a template. This opens the template gallery with lots of templates for work and for home. Open a to-do list, then give your sheet a name like yard sale to-do list, or a similar name that describes an event or a project you're planning. This becomes the file name and is the way you will find the file on your Google Drive. Notice that as soon as you open this sheet template, it is saved automatically on your Google Drive. In fact, any work you do in your sheet is saved automatically. You never have to click Save. Notice that this template may look a little different from a blank spreadsheet, but it still has the same elements. The image on the slide shows a to-do list with a column for tasks. 3 tasks are listed. Sheets contain many rectangles called cells. Cells are organized into rows and columns. Every cell has a name based on its column and row. For example, this cell is called A1 because it is in column A and row 1. You can navigate the sheet by clicking in different cells, or you can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move around the grid. You can add text, formatting, formulas, and functions to cells. Because you're using a template specifically designed for a to-do list, there is already some formatting here. There are columns for check marks to indicate if a task is complete and for the deadline date for that task. And there is a space for a description of the task itself. To use the template, replace the tasks with things you need to do for your event, project, or work. Feel free to copy what you see on the screen. As an example, the image on the right shows a user modifying the text in a template. They add text in the 3rd column to describe the task of finding a location for a meeting. Then they add a date in column B. Notice that when you click into a sheet cell and start typing, you will replace the text that was already there. If you're experimenting, type 2 or 3 tasks that are related to an event you might plan. Then add a few dates. If you're practicing along, they don't have to be real. When you build this project for your own team, verify you have the correct dates and that the deadlines are reasonable. If you have hard deadlines, like an event you have already scheduled, make sure you include those too. Now let's say you want to collaborate with several people and divide up the responsibilities to get your event going. The image on the right shows a to-do list with 2 tasks, along with a new column that details who owns each project. You can add that additional column for owner and write a name in each row for a task. To do this, click column C and then click Insert and column Right. Now click inside cell D1 and type a title to give the column a heading like owner. Adding a column, add a few names in the rows below. Adding a column for task owners turns this into a team to-do list. Now let's talk about changing the way your sheet looks by changing colors, fonts, and other style aspects of your sheet. You can change the format of this template to reflect your own style or something about the event. For example, if it's a party for your favorite sports team, you can change this green to your team colors. Or if it's for a meeting at work, you can change this to your brand colors. To make it easier to follow along, the image on the right shows a user changing the fill color of the header in the template. They click and drag to select cells A1 through D3, then they select the fill color icon and choose cornflower blue. To change the colors in a sheet, click on a cell and then click the fill color icon. Now choose a color from the drop-down list. You can also select multiple columns or rows by holding down Control, clicking multiple cells, columns, or rows, and then selecting a new fill color for everything at once. Additionally, you can adjust the font size, style, or color by selecting a cell or group of cells and then selecting new font settings. So now you have a sheet with some tasks and owners, and maybe you have used some formatting to make your to-do list easier to read. Let's think again about how else you can apply this application to everyday tasks. You can use sheets for anything you need to organize, not just for event planning. From employee schedules to family appointments and sports practices to simple shopping lists, Google Sheets can be used for anything you need to organize. You can find other templates online to help you start pretty much any type of project you need. Your sheet is automatically saved on your Google Drive, which should still be open in Chrome. Navigate to that browser tab icon to access the application. And here it is. This image on the slide shows a user's Google Drive containing the sample to-do list. Now remember the list of owners you created in your to-do list? Imagine you're going to ask all those people to attend a virtual meeting and help you plan this event. One way to have a useful and productive meeting is to keep notes as you're discussing. Using Google Docs, you can create and share meeting notes and even collaborate in the same document from anywhere at the same time. Just like we did with this sheet, we're going to start off with a template to help with some of the overall design and basic elements. The image on the slide shows a user creating a new meeting notes template from Google Docs. They select New, Docs, from a template, and then choose one template for the notes. This opens the Google Docs template gallery. Just like you saw with Sheets, there are lots of document templates from which to choose. Open the meeting notes template you want to use. Once again, your template opens in a new tab and automatically saves to your Google Drive. The image on the right shows a meeting notes template. The template includes headings for attendees, agenda, and notes. A user selects the placeholder text beneath last meeting follow-up and adds some text unique to their meeting. All the templates for this style of document have the same basic information: meeting date, list of attendees, agenda, notes, action items, and items for the next meeting. Click the placeholder text under last meeting follow-up and type something there, like a reminder about a task that's in progress. Similar to the spreadsheet formatting you just completed, you can format this document however you want. You can select the text and change from a numbered list to a bulleted list, and you can change the font sizes, styles, or colors. This slide shows a meeting notes template. A user selects the body text, then they use the formatting toolbar at the top of the page to choose bulleted list and change some text to blue. Additionally, you can add comments to the document to make notes about things without changing the text. For example, you might want to quickly add a comment about what to add to the meeting agenda, but actually write the agenda later. Or you may want to add a reminder to ask your coworker a question during the meeting. To leave a comment, select text in the document. You can select one word, a sentence, or even just a character. Then click the plus button on the side of the page, or open the Insert menu and choose Comment. In the box that appears, type the comment. The image on the right shows the meeting notes template with text selected to show how this works. A user has selected the plus icon and added a comment about the budget. Here's a great trick that makes collaboration much easier. If you add a comment for someone else, type the plus sign and then their email address. Google Docs will send an email to that person with your comment and a link to the document. So if I want my coworker to fill in the agenda before the meeting, I can add a comment, add a plus sign, and their email address. If you want, you can choose to assign the comment to your teammate so they can see it as an action item. When you assign a comment to a person, they will be responsible for resolving it. Once you decide whether or not to assign the comment, select Comment to add it to the document. The image on the right shows a user assigning a comment. They type the plus icon, add a coworker's email address, and select Assign To before adding the comment. If your teammates don't yet have access to the document, Google Docs prompts you to choose what kind of access they should have. Let's talk about different ways to share access to a digital file in G Suite. One of the most useful features of Google Docs and many of Google's other apps is the ability to collaborate in the same document at the same time. In the past, sharing documents meant saving a version and emailing it to someone on your team. They had to download it, make changes to it, save it as a different file name, and send it back to you. Then you had to download it again, resave it, and so on. That's a lot of steps to edit the same document. Not only is this an inefficient way to get things done, that many steps increases the chances that at some point, somebody will be making changes to the wrong version of a project file. Experience and education won't help you here. Version control happens to the best of us. With Google Docs, you can collaborate on projects with anyone, anywhere, and at the same time by just making the changes. Google Docs will save changes you all make, and because there's only one version of the document, you never need to worry about working on the wrong one. You can choose which documents you share with which people, and you can control how much access they have. By controlling the sharing settings, you can give different members of your team access to the documents they need. If you added someone to a comment, you may have already been prompted to give them access to it. Another way to grant access is to share the document with someone directly. Select Share in the upper right corner. Type that person's email address in the box. If you want to try it out today, you can use your own email address to practice. Next, you can choose what the person can do with your project. Can Edit allows the person to edit the document directly. If someone is helping you take notes for the meeting, they'll need edit access. Can Comment allows the person to add comments to the document, but not change anything. For example, you might want meeting participants to review the notes after the meeting and add comments about anything that is missing from the notes. Can View allows the person to see the document, but not make any alterations at all. For example, this could be a volunteer for your event or a person who is not involved in planning, but who does need to know the details of the meeting. Notice the box at the bottom labeled Notify People. When you share a document, sheet, or presentation with someone, they will receive an email about it. If you do not want to send an email, uncheck this box. If you're practicing by sending this to your own email address, leave this box checked for now. Next, you can add a note about the document and click Send. The next time the person checks their Gmail, they will have an email from Google Docs that includes your note and links to access the document. So you can better understand how this works, the image on the right shows a Share dialog box that contains a user's options for collaborating in a digital document. One text box displays a colleague's email address. One shows a field for adding a note. A drop-down menu shows Can Edit, Can Comment, and Can View to demonstrate different levels of access. Here's the cool part. When you store files in your drive, you can give access to different files to different people. Maybe you created a draft agenda for a big event and you want everyone in your event planning committee to have access to the agenda. That's the path I'm showing you on the left side of your screen. But maybe you also have a budget file and you only want one other person to have access to that. That's the path on the right side. And more good news is you can give different people different levels of access to the file. People can either have access to edit a file, comment without editing, or to just view it without the ability to comment or make changes. You can also give people access to a complete folder and store a group of files in that folder. In that situation, everyone who has access to the folder will also have access to the files within the folder. And yes, you can give access to people outside of your organization. That makes this perfect for sharing information for your clients or members. Now imagine that you have planned your virtual event using a to-do list and collaborated with your team to make an agenda for the event. Next, you might need a way of communicating effectively with a large group of people. For example, if you're planning a big summit for your entire organization, you might want to give everyone an update on your progress. Or if you're pitching new business to a possible investor, you might want to plan out what to say during your presentation. For these situations, and for plenty of others in the workplace, build a presentation in Google Slides. Even if your event is just a small team meeting, using a slide deck can keep everyone on track, on pace, and engaged. Now let's take a look at how to use a presentation to share your progress or ideas at work. You can start from a blank slide deck. Or, you guessed it, Google Slides offers several templates for common purposes. As with our other projects, we're going to start off with a template to help with some of the overall design and basic elements. From your Google Drive, select New, Google Sheets, and From a Template. This opens the Google Sheets template gallery. You can find options for all kinds of presentations you want to give, like presenting your research at a professional conference, delivering a sales pitch, or teaching a lesson. Open the template you want to use. We'll start with a status report template and build an example project for updating an organization on all the work you've gotten done from home. The image on the slide shows a user creating a new status support template from Google Docs. They selected New, Sheets, From a Template, and then chose a slide deck template. Once again, your template opens in a new tab and automatically saves to your Google Drive. As you can see, this template has built-in categories designed to update a stakeholder on deadlines, road bumps, and your team's accomplishments. Different templates include different categories, slide layouts, colors, and design. Let's start customizing your slide by creating a title slide. The image on the right shows status report presentation template. The user changes the placeholder text box so that it says status report, new marketing campaign. Then they move the text box. You can edit the text on the slide to explain the purpose of a presentation. You can also move text box or shapes. Click the placeholder text and type something there, like the title of one of your current projects. Every template includes pre-designed layouts. Layouts include pre-arranged text boxes and formatting, and Slides makes suggestions for how to use each layout. You can select different layouts to present different information, like a main point, important data, or a caption. Add a new slide. Select a new layout that helps you present the information you need to share with your team or business partners. The image on the right shows a user adding a new slide to the presentation. They select a big number layout and add the slide. As you build your presentation, you may want to demonstrate information or ideas with a visual. You can add images and videos to get your audience's attention. For example, if your presentation is a new employee onboarding training, you might include a photo of your team or workplace. Or for a budget update presentation, you can link a chart or graph from a Google Sheet. To add these elements, access the Insert menu. Choose the kind of visual element you want to include. The image on the right shows a user adding an image to a slide. They select Insert, search the web for an image labeled Marketing, and choose an illustration of a person typing on a computer. Add a visual like a photo or video directly from your Google Drive, or search the web to find an image that suits your presentation. Make sure you have the right to use the image. When you search for an image directly from the Slides application, the images returned in your search will automatically be free for use. At this point, you've built a slide deck to support your presentation. You've selected layouts, customized text, and added charts, images, or other visuals to enhance it. Now share the presentation. You might want to share the slide deck with your team to get their input, or you can make it available to everyone who will be in the audience. You can even embed the presentation on a web page. To access these settings, use the share icon, just like you did from Google Docs or Sheets. Type a colleague's email address and decide what kind of access to give them, or get the sharing link to add it to other files or documents. To better showcase how this works, the image on the right shows a user sharing a slide deck with a colleague. They select Share, type an email address, and choose Edit Access. We're almost finished, and I hope you're feeling more comfortable with Sheets and documents now. In this short period of time, we examined opening your Google Drive, creating a to-do list from a template, adding tasks, dates, and owners to the sheet, and adding formats to your sheet. We also opened a Google Docs template for a meeting agenda and notes. You saw how to change the placeholder text in the template, customize the colors, add comments, and share your projects. Finally, we built a status update presentation using Google Slides. You saw how a template can make your slide deck look polished and professional, and we looked at how to customize layouts for your unique presentation. Google Docs and Google Sheets can get you started with useful Google Docs and Google Sheets can get you started with useful projects for your professional or personal lives. For example, you can build resumes using a template in Google Docs, or you might design a budget in Sheets. Google also offers several apps you may want to explore. The slide shows 5 app icons for Forms, Sites, Slides, Calendar, and Hangouts. After the workshop, check out Forms to create surveys to collect feedback from others, Slides to make presentations to share with a group, Calendar to create appointments and book meetings, Google Meet or Hangouts to video conference and meet with people remotely, or Sites to create your own websites for a business or to share your work portfolio. We've barely scratched the surface of all the features that Google applications offer. I hope you've been thinking of ways you can use these digital tools in your own work or personal life. I want you to leave this workshop with a clear sense of what you should do next. So here are a few ways to move forward. Visit docs.google.com and review possible templates you might want to use for work. For example, you might use a newsletter to keep your customers updated on your company's remote work. Also, check out the additional templates available in Google Sheets. You can build a spreadsheet tracker for your professional projects, design a budget, or keep working on your to-do list. Finally, consider some of our other professionalization workshops to continue growing your career. Let's take a look at a few of those before we go. Today we touched on a few of the collaboration features Google has to offer. To get more in-depth training on these tools, Google offers free G Suite training. If you want to get an official certification in G Suite, you have that option too, which may look good on a resume. Anyone can complete all of the G Suite training at no cost through Applied Digital Skills, an online platform for digital learning. Even if you don't plan to get your G Suite certification, these lessons can help you get familiar with all of the applications in G Suite. Applied Digital Skills free training curriculum helps you with more skills you might want to learn, from data analysis to research and communication to resume writing. There are lessons for adult learners and even lessons for middle and high school students. If you want to sharpen your business and marketing skills, check out Primer. This is a free app you can download to your phone. If you have an Android device, you can download it at Google Play. If you have an Apple device, you can download it from the Apple App Store. This has a series of short, fun lessons that are all less than 5 minutes each. If you really want to become an expert at Google Apps for Business, visit SKILLSHOP. This was formerly called Academy for Ads. SKILLSHOP is a one-stop training center for everyone who uses Google professional tools and solutions. There's training on Google Ads, Google Analytics, Google My Business, and more. The lessons here are categorized based on your experience. There's information perfect for beginners, intermediate, and even advanced users, and there's no charge for this training. I know we went over a lot of different training options. To access it all in one location, visit the Grow with Google website at GROW.GOOGLE.com. These courses help you work, teach, and learn from anywhere. You'll find information, training resources, and more for small businesses, job seekers and students, veterans and military families, educators, developers, and startups. And here are all the resources I mentioned today in today's presentation. Check out these websites for more in-depth information on what I covered today. This wraps up the presentation of today's workshop. And if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to contact us. You can contact me directly at kangelo.lbpl@gmail.com. That's KANGELO.LBPL@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to us through the website, the library's website at longbranchlib.org. Thank you.